So, what if I told you that a massive, multi-billion-dollar global industry, the very backbone of how stuff gets to your doorstep, was basically being run on email and spreadsheets? Sounds kind of crazy, right? Well, that's the reality in freight forwarding. Okay, let's dive in and see how AI is starting to untangle this huge bottleneck.
So let's talk numbers. $12 billion. That's how big the mid-market freight forwarding industry is. We're talking about a colossal engine for global commerce, the system that gets products from the factory all the way to your front door. But deep inside this giant machine, there's this really slow, super inefficient process that's just burning through billions.
And this really gets to the heart of the problem. Think about it. To get just one freight quote, it can take 1, sometimes 2 hours of pure manual work. You've got people digging through emails, trying to coordinate with a bunch of different partners, and basically pricing things based on gut feel. And the result of all that? A staggering 73% of deals are lost, not because the price was wrong, but just because a competitor was faster. You see, it's not that the people aren't working hard, it's that the system itself is at its breaking point.
Okay, so how in the world do you fix a problem that's so deeply baked into how an entire industry operates? I mean, you can't just throw more people at it, right? You have to build a smarter engine. And in FreighAI's case, that engine has 2 distinct, really powerful layers.
And this is a really important point to get. The goal here isn't to replace people. It's all about multiplying their capabilities. So you have these 2 layers. The first one takes care of all that repetitive, operational grunt work, which frees up the team to actually think. And the second layer, well, that provides this compounding intelligence that makes every single quote just a little bit smarter. Let's break down exactly how it works.
All right, so let's start with layer 1. This is what they call operations augmentation. Honestly, you can just think of it as the ultimate workhorse for the team. It's doing all the heavy lifting. It automatically reads incoming emails, in multiple languages by the way, pulls out over 50 different data points, and then goes and gets live rates from carriers like DHL and FedEx, all in real time. Then boom, it generates that initial quote. It handles the volume so your team can focus on strategy.
Okay, and here's where it gets really smart. All that data from the workhorse layer, it feeds directly into layer 2, the intelligence augmentation. This is the brain of the whole operation. It learns from every single quote, every win, every loss, every single negotiation, and over time, it develops these amazing capabilities, like margin intelligence to figure out the best price for profit and a high win rate. It has negotiation intelligence to handle those tricky customer discounts, and it even has partner sourcing to find the absolute best carriers for any route you can think of.
All right, so that's the tech, the architecture. But what does this actually look like for someone using it on, a random Tuesday afternoon? Let's walk through a real-world scenario to see these AI agents in action. We'll call it a quote in 2 acts.
So here's the setup. An email pops in from a regular customer. We'll call them DGL. They need a quote for a 45-kilogram shipment going from Germany to the UAE. Now, in the old days, this would have kicked off that hour-long manual process we talked about. But now, what happens?
And boom, Act 1. This is the screen the operations team sees, pretty much instantly. The AI straight up recommends a price that'll lock in a 25% margin. But here's the key. It's not just some black box spitting out a number. It tells you why. It says there's a 68% chance of winning this deal because it's looked at hundreds of similar quotes. And it knows that this specific customer, DGL, has said yes to this price range on 8 of their last 10 shipments. Now that's real intelligence.
But of course, business is never that simple, is it? The customer replies, "Hey, can you do any better? I'm looking for a 10% discount." Now, this is that critical moment. This is where margins usually get destroyed by guesswork, or where a deal just gets lost because you're too slow to respond. But this is exactly where that AI's perfect memory becomes a total superpower.
Welcome to Act 2, the negotiation. Right away, the AI's negotiation intelligence agent kicks in. See, it already knows DGL's habits. It knows they negotiate on about 68% of their quotes, and that they almost always ask for 10%, but they usually end up settling for around 5%. So instead of just caving and giving away the full 10%, the AI recommends a counteroffer, a 4% discount, that keeps the margin high but still plays into the customer's typical bargaining pattern. It's brilliant.
So you see the dual benefit here, right? It's huge. The system is using actual data to protect your profit margins from just being whittled away. And at the exact same time, the customer's getting a super fast, consistent, and data-driven answer, which just makes our whole experience way, way better. It's a total win-win.
Okay, so this all sounds amazing in theory. Super powerful, right? But the real question is always, does it actually work? in the messy day-to-day world of logistics? Well, let's take a look at the proof.
I mean, this right here really says it all. For one of their very first customers, a company called Infinity Logistics, the transformation over just 12 months is just staggering. Their response time went from an hour down to just 15 minutes. Their win rate on quotes more than doubled, jumping from 35% all the way up to 73%. And, get this, they did all of it without hiring a single new person. That's not just a small improvement, that's a fundamental change in what their business is capable of.
And you don't have to take my word for it. The operations manager over at Infinity Logistics, a guy named Ahmed, he put it perfectly. He said, it's like having 3 extra pricing experts who have perfect memory and never take a day off. I mean, that just perfectly captures what it feels like to multiply your team's power.
What's also pretty incredible here is just how fast they moved. This whole system went from just an idea, from research, to a fully automated platform with an actual paying customer in just 8 months. And they did it all on their own dime, completely bootstrapped, no outside investors. That just shows a laser-like focus on solving the real-world problem.
And that intense focus, well, it's already paying off. They're at $48,000 in annualized recurring revenue. That's not a guess, that's hard proof that people really want and need this kind of intelligence. So this isn't just some cool idea anymore. It's a real, validated product that's already generating revenue.
So I'll just leave you with this one final thought to chew on. For decades, success in this industry has really come down to individual experience, to intuition, a person's gut feel. So what happens to an entire industry like that when a system with a perfect collective memory finally arrives? A system that learns from every single transaction and never forgets. We're not just talking about being more efficient. This is a fundamental shift from guessing to knowing.